Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday. Today is the 15th day of April. It's pretty in Nashville. It is pretty and sunshiny, and it was a nice run this morning. Hope it's pretty where you are. I was on a Zoom yesterday where it was snowing, so I hope it's not snowing where you are. Anyway, let me know in the chat. Okay, so today is the 15th day of April, as I said. This is the 75th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. That's a little bit mind-boggling. 75 episodes just of season 3. Wow. Anyway, 75 episodes, season 3. And the Be Your Own Hero show is an acronym. The hero part is an acronym. Hero means helping everyone reaps optimism. Helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. And I'm your host. I'm Sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative and the creator of what we're now calling the Hero Ministry Movement. And that's my effort to uplift and inspire people in general, and specifically the unhoused community. Join me here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern, 8:45 a.m. Central, 7:45 a.m. Mountain, to hear me talk about my journey of becoming my own financial hero. And shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this platform to talk about my journey of becoming, period. My journey of becoming. If this show feeds you, gives you any value, please like, please comment. Most of all, please share and keep the circle expanding by sharing. All right, all those things said, quick reminder, I'm not a personal trainer, nor am I a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence. Do your own due diligence. All right, so all that said, I had a new viewer recently, and so I didn't catch the comment during the show, but afterwards I caught it, and that person was asking who I am. So let me put this up. I'll just leave this up throughout the show in case there's any new viewers out there you want to see who I am and how to get in touch with me. There you go. There's my website. And that said, shout out to Tim for popping in with the coffee and the water. Reminder, happy Good Friday to all the heroes in the chat, all the heroes watching. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's start with the run streak. Wait a minute, I have a title for it. The Sekou Hero Charity Run. I forgot the title for a while, but I just started using it again. So this run streak has a title. It's called the Sekou Hero Charity Run. I created that title when I first started raising money for the unhoused through the run streak. And then I lost track of it. But I think it is the easiest way to refer to the run streak for people to look it up elsewhere. So Sekou Hero Charity Run. I didn't do Sekou's because it got a little complicated with the hashtag. Social media stuff, doesn't matter. So Sekou Hero Charity Run. Today is day 319. I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for now 319 consecutive days in a row. And I'm going to share with you today's run report that I just did not too long ago. And then we'll talk about it a little bit. So here we go. Today's run report. Run streak day 319. I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for now 319 days in a row. And we are still going, pushing towards day 365, 365, 365. Coming up soon. And I will have been doing this for a whole year. Started in June of 2021. Wow. Anyway, let's see. What can I share with you? How about some stats? I've run in 11 different cities. I've run over 960 miles. There's my wristband. The whole run, I was looking for my wristband. It's right here on the floor, on the ground, next to the car. Okay, there we go. Back in the game. Okay, so anyway, what else we have? Run story for today. My run story for today is pretty simple. It's just that you can not feel like it even after you start running and still get it done. Like, that's a revelation for me. I don't know about for you, but that's a revelation for me. So this morning, I didn't necessarily not feel like running. I was pretty neutral. I had some things I was doing in the house that delayed me from running, and I wanted to keep doing that, but I was like, let's go get this run. So
I was pretty neutral. But when I started running, I was like, ooh, ouch, ouch, ouch. Everything was hurting, right? First 10 steps, I was like, ooh, ouchie, ouchie, right? And my pace was around 11 minutes a mile, which is basically like a fast walk. So I just kept going, though. I didn't stop. I just tried to settle my pace and keep going. And then my time ticked up. Like I got faster. And then eventually I got a little slower, but I went from a 9 to from an 11 to a 10 to a 9 in terms of pace. So again, the neurotransmitters kicked in, the endorphins kicked in, and it made it easier for me to run. The pain went away. And yeah, it's like life. If you stop when you feel those first pangs of pain, then you'll never get to the point where your body kicks in, your mind kicks in, when everything takes over and it gets easier. But if you give up in those first few steps when it's painful, you're never going to get there. And you don't know that because you keep stopping in those first few steps. You got to train yourself to get past those first few steps and let the autopilot kick in. And once you get the autopilot to kick in, then you can just keep going. You can just keep going. So that's my lesson for today, my learning for today, rather. Oh, I'm out of storage space. All right, I got to go. Be your own hero later. Destroy excuses.
Okay, so I've started thinking about these thematically because, as you know, if you've been watching the show, I've said that when I tell people about the Sekou Hero charity run, when I tell people about it, even people that don't know I'm a writer are like, when are you going to write the book? When are you going to write the lessons? And so I've been playing with that a little bit. I've been jotting a few things down and arranging a couple of things. And so I'm thinking thematically now. So the theme for today's run story is don't quit. And that is a very reoccurring theme in terms of the run streak, in terms of the Sekou Hero charity run. Don't quit. Don't quit. You stick with it. Whatever it is you're sticking with, if you stick with it, it gets better, it gets easier, it gets more familiar. All those things in ways that you can't anticipate, in ways that you can't predict before you start moving. Yeah. Don't quit. All right. Shout out to Linda. Shout out to Nan. Blessings to you, Linda. I see Linda saying that there was an evacuation order for wildfires near the house, but the evacuation order has been lifted. So shout out to Linda. Blessings. Ashe and amen. You are in divine order. Okay. So that's the run story and my cherry picking of themes as I go. So check that out. Check out the rest of the run stories on I guess all the things. It's all on Facebook and it's all on Instagram, but it's easiest to go to TikTok because that's the only thing I post on TikTok. So they're all right there. And I'm going to circle back to that in a second. But before I do that, Dice Roll Challenge. I feel like I need some music or something for Dice Roll Challenge. Can I do that? Yeah, let me add. I'll just add a little background music. Although there should be a sound effect. Oh, baby drum roll. Baby drum roll. Okay, that's a little baby drum roll for the Dice Roll Challenge, and I will also do a little background music. Okay. Okay, so yesterday's number was 5. Those of you keeping track, if you forgot to move your money yesterday, yesterday's number was 5. And today's number coming right up is 6. Sequential numbers. Yesterday was 5, today is 6. So, you know the deal if you've been watching the show. Transfer $6 from your checking account over into your investment account. If you're doing it with cash, take $6 out and move it over into whatever spot you got, your money jar, your envelope, whatever you're doing. Move that money out, take it out of circulation. This is to save up money to invest. Now, a lot of people have told me when I tell them about the Dice Roll Challenge that they've done something similar, but they use that money to splurge. They put money into a different account, or they put cash into a separate container, and at the end of the year, they splurge. They go on vacation, or they buy themselves something nice. Some people actually have added up the change, like the coins throughout the year, and they cash that in at the end of the year and splurge. So I'm suggesting that you do that, you follow that same process, but invest the money, 100% of that money, just invest it. All right, that's what we're doing. We're making sure that we have money to invest so that we can avoid the excuse of, I don't have enough money to invest. Yeah, you do. You're creating it right now. Okay, that said, let's move on into the morning Zen. I've got 2 things to talk about for the morning Zen. So the first is Transcendental Meditation. So those of you who've been watching the show for a while know that I started doing Transcendental Meditation recently, as did Rev. Melissa. Actually, her experiences with it inspired me to do it. And it requires a little bit of training, like you have to sign up for training and you go take some classes. And then you meditate twice a day for 20 minutes each. Excuse me. So 40 minutes a day. So I'm coughing because I was drinking my my after run protein shake while you guys were watching the run report. So it went down the wrong way. Anyway, so this morning's meditation brought something up for me. During this morning's meditation, the number 251 kept coming up. And I was like, what's that about? And then what I started to do was look up the significance of that number. And by the way, in the run report, when you saw me say, oh, I was doing some things in the house that I wanted to continue, this is what I was talking about. So I had this number pop up in my meditation, and I was like, all right, so what's this number for? And I did not look up the symbolism of the number. I thought, maybe I'll check the run report. Remember I said I was going to circle back to the run report in a few minutes? So I went to TikTok and scrolled down and looked for 251 of my own run report. And I played it this morning. And it was all about, I can't wait to give this money to Mr. Charles. So, message received from the universe, and also from you, Ned, and you, Tim, for nudging me. Universe is saying it's time to go ahead and close that out. So it is my intention to make it an Easter gift this weekend. So hopefully next time you see me, I will have taken care of that. I'm going to go get an Easter card, and I think I'm just going to do cash, put the cash in the Easter card, and try to locate him this weekend and close that out. But I thought it was so cool that that's what came up for me. And of course, I'm sure if I looked up the significance of the number 251, there would have been something else that led me in a different direction that's equally positive. But it's so cool to be in conversation with the universe, because it reminds me, well, it alerts me to the fact that we're always in conversation with the universe. We just have to listen. We just have to pay attention, right? And I could have just said, oh, that's interesting. The number 251 came in my meditation, time to go run. But I didn't. I watched my own run report, and I kind of chased it down, and I decided what it means for me. And I like the decision that I've made in terms of what it means, but I'm going to close that out. And so I'm excited for the weekend. I'm excited to close that situation out with Mr. Charles. So I should have a report on Monday. Okay, second thing for Morning Zen. As you know, I've been rereading the book, The 7-Day Mental Diet. I highly recommend it. And what we've been doing most recently is unpacking a certain section of the 7-Day Mental Diet. This is the last day, so this is day 7, but he's talking about the 8 great lifesaver questions. I love the phrasing. The 8 great lifesaver questions. Okay, so let's continue with this. We talked about the first one, am I smiling right now? Question number 1, am I smiling right now? Chances are you aren't. You aren't, right? Especially if you're upset about something. But generally speaking, our baseline is not smiling. We all know this now because we're all on Zoom. By the way, quick sidebar, I have just recently got on Zoom. right? I know everybody shifted to Zoom because of the pandemic, but my lifestyle during the pandemic has been very much outdoors, right? And so now that I've got a new client for video editing, like we do a lot of Zooms. And so I am just now noticing some things that probably you've noticed already. But what I have noticed immediately is people's resting face is not a smiling face. People's resting face is like, right? When someone's not talking and they slip into their resting face, they look depressed. They look depressed. I have made it a personal effort to maintain at least a hint of a smile on my face, a resting smile face. And I suggest you do the same. So this is the point. Are you smiling right now? Probably not. Probably not. If your face looks like these faces on Zoom, you're not smiling. So choose to smile, choose to elevate your spirit, choose to reach for cheerfulness, which goes back to an earlier part of the book. So that's question number one. Question number two, am I breathing deeply right now? Am I breathing deeply right now? And I read this story from Jay Shetty's book, Think Like a Monk, about how a 10-year-old monk taught him, Jay Shetty, about breathing and how breath is the only thing that we keep with us always. I guess it's not the only thing we keep with us always. We also keep our thoughts and our bodies with us always. But our breath is always there. Our breath is always there. And our breath changes based on what we're reacting to in the world around us. If we're anxious, if we're angry, if we're calm, if we're soothed, all those things make our breath move in different ways. And thankfully, we can control our breath. So we can exert control, and exerting control of our breath will change our mood. The same way that smiling when you're not feeling like smiling will boost your mood. So controlling your smile and controlling your breath are two ways to control your physiological state. By the way, quick exercise from Jay Shetty's book. He calls it the box breath. Well, I guess a lot of people call it the box breath. But in case you're unfamiliar with the box breath, it goes like this. This is a relaxation breath. Breathe in 4 times. So in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3. So they call it a box because it's 4 breaths on each side. So in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. And then you repeat. I've done it. Quick, another sidebar. Well, it's Freeflow Friday. It's fine. Sidebars. So I got this new running watch, right? And it has all this interesting information. It measures my heart rate and my stress level and what it calls my body battery. So that's interesting, right? So anyway, what I did yesterday or the day before is I tried the box breath. I looked at the dial. Looked at the dial here to see what my stress level was, and it was yellow. It's like yellow, green, yellow, red. It was yellow. And then I did my box breath, and when I came out from my box breath, it was green. So it works. It works if you work it. So you can do a box breath and help yourself relax, and you can do a smile and help yourself relax. Okay. By the way, fascinating technology that all this information is in there. This is not even an Apple Watch. This is a Garmin. Anyway, next question. This is the one that we're on today. How can I expect less? How can I expect less? How can I expect less? Now, all of these questions relate to all of us, and I'm speaking to myself, but this one in particular, how can I expect less? I remember this from the first time I read this book. That really resonated with me because I have tended in the past to be disappointed. But disappointment comes from expectation. If you don't have expectation, then you don't get disappointed. I've discovered that for myself. If you can divorce yourself from expectation, you're not disappointed. So this one really resonated with me. And what he says about it is, and the he that I'm referring to is Emmett Fox, the author of this book. So this question is designed to help you be less attached to the outcome of your actions. Be less attached to the outcome of your actions. In other words, often we do something, but we're expecting a certain kind of response. We're expecting a thank you, maybe. We're expecting a reciprocal action. We're expecting something. So divorce yourself from the expectation of a reaction to what you do. And later on, he says, when you expect less of others, you free them to do more. When you expect less of others, you free them to do more. What? That's a good word. That's a good word. And just a reminder, it all starts with you, right? Expectation or lack thereof happens internally. No one else can see that. But if you shift your awareness around expectation, and you're able to divorce yourself from expectation, then I can tell you from my own experience, your situations open themselves up and they become wider. Right? Because you're looking for this narrow little thing. You want this narrow little thing to happen. If that narrow thing doesn't happen, then you get upset and you miss all the other things that are happening. That's been my experience. And Freeflow Friday, another sidebar. Another thing I was doing this morning was I was reading a book. What book, you ask? My book. I wrote a book at the beginning of the pandemic and I forgot about it because I was writing it early in the morning every day. I'd write like a sentence or two and I'd forget about it because, days are long and I'd forgotten about it. And so I looked it up and I was reading it this morning. I was like, this is pretty good. I printed it out like a couple days ago, but I was reading it this morning. I was like, hey, this is pretty good. So anyway, you'll hear more about that soon. But the reason I mention it though, is I talked in that book about what I just described, me looking for a very narrow form of response. And when that thing didn't happen, I missed all the wonderful things that were happening in real time. I missed those other things because I was too busy focused on that one thing. So back to the question from the book, how can I expect less? How can I expect less? So carry that with you. Okay, so that was the morning's in. We talked about Transcendental Meditation. We talked about the universe nudging me back to Mr. Charles. We talked about the 7-day mental diet and how today's question to carry with you through the weekend is, how can I expect less? Work on that one over the weekend. That one will shock you. Every time you start to feel a pinch about something that's happening around you, ask yourself, how can I expect less? Okay, we also described how to do a box prep. You can use that to relax yourself at any given time. Okay, so let's get into some abundance. Let's do this affirmation. We're going to do it twice. You know the deal. You want to get these words memorized, and you also want to imbue them with feeling. Okay. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. You know the deal. If you've seen the show before, the difference between an affirmation and an incantation is feeling. You've got to imbue it with feeling. I've been doing affirmations all my life, and I never heard about the feeling part until recently. And I've heard that from Tony Robbins and a number of other people. But famously, Tony Robbins learned about incantation and was doing those when, he was driving a beat up car and wasn't anywhere near where he is now. But he credits incantations with getting his subconscious to believe in the wealth and abundance that he saw for himself, and now he has it. So make sure you imbue your affirmation with feeling. Okay, and then there's my reminder. If you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. But if you want to become wealthy, you must invest. All right, that's my alarm going off. Oh wait, so I'm reading this comment from Nan. First of all, thanks Nan and Tim for shouting me out for the Easter gift to Mr. Charles. I see you in the chat. So this is from Nan. You're saying she brought the 7-day mental diet by Emma Fox. It's a little red pamphlet. It doesn't seem to have all the info that I can read to us. You didn't see the questions. Okay, so what I did was I purchased the 7-Day Mental Diet on Kindle, obviously not a physical book. And this one, let's go to the cover. 7-Day Mental Diet, author Emmett Fox, illustrator Johannes Malan. All right, can you see that? 7-Day Mental Diet. There we go. That's what it looks like in Kindle. I've never seen the physical book, to be honest with you. But that's what it looks like. It's got scissors on the cover. All right, so maybe that makes a difference. Maybe the illustrator, Johannes, he seems to have made some changes here and there, although the questions should be in the book. But anyway, this is the version I got. I got the Kindle version. And there's also a little red booklet called It Works by a different person. I can't remember the name of that person, but there's a little red pamphlet that's called It Works. I actually have that, and that's one of the things that I give to the unhoused community. Okay, so let me circle back to abundance really quickly. Yesterday, you heard me talk about the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and you saw that I got really excited about this. So I don't have a lot of time, so let me make this quick. Here's the question. If you had the opportunity to buy into a $30 billion company, and they promised you that you would get profits from that company, how much would you be willing to spend to invest? If you had the opportunity to be able to buy into a successful $30 billion company, and they're going to share profits with you, how much would you be willing to spend on it? Now, you don't have to answer that, but think about it, because that's what the Dow is. It is a very successful, let's just call it a bowl, to make it simple, a very successful bowl of only 30 companies with a net worth of around $30 billion, minimally $30 billion. I think it's close to $300 billion, to be honest with you. But minimally $30 billion, right? It's been doing very well for a very long time. It is the index that everyone refers to on the news. The Dow was up, the Dow was down, the Dow was neutral, like all those things. It's only 30 companies. So, wrapping this up, after my show yesterday, Reverend Melissa asked me if there's an index fund that covers that bowl. And I found out that there is. So just like there is an index fund that covers the S&P 500, there's one that covers this bowl of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So the cost of that index fund is $350 per share. Now, that is a steal. That is a steal. That's highway robbery. You don't have to spend $350 to be exposed to all 30 of those companies with a net worth, well, market cap of about $30 billion that's been doing phenomenally well all this time. And it pays a dividend. It pays a dividend immediately. As soon as you buy into it, it starts paying you a dividend. It doesn't get much better than that, people. It doesn't get much better than that. So I will be getting a share of the index fund that covers the Dow. I mentioned yesterday that I've already started acquiring the individual shares of stock that are contained within the Dow because they are very inexpensive. And I want to test it out as a way to introduce new people to the stock market because all the things are there. I'm going to go a little bit over time. I just want to finish this thought. Everything's there. Like what I discovered and what you've discovered too, if you've invested in the stock market, is you have to find your range of abundance. Like when I first started, I literally started investing with $1. And so when I started buying full shares, I was buying very inexpensive full shares of stock, like $20 stocks, 25, 30, right? That was comfortable for me. Then I had to graduate to $50 stocks, 60, okay, all right. Then $100 stocks, right? And $200 stocks. I had to grow in comfort to the point where now I feel like I'm about at $500 is my threshold now. It was not in the beginning, but it is now. Like now I don't blink when I buy a share of the S&P 500 at $500 per share. Now that used to rattle me, but now it doesn't. Now I have not quite reached Reverend Melissa's level where she just bought a full share of Tesla at $1,000. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm going to get there. The point is, within the Dow Jones Industrial Average bowl, as I've been calling it today, The stocks, the individual shares, range from $40 up to 500. That's entirely within my wheelhouse of comfort. And for someone who's new, who hasn't been exposed to the stock market before, buying at $40 is something we can all do, right? We can all feel comfortable buying a $40 stock. But all the different price points are within that same goal. So you can start at 40, move up to 50, 60, 70, 80, all the way up to 500. And then once you finish buying all the components of the Dow, then you're ready. Then you're ready to go out here and buy the S&P 500. You're ready to buy the NASDAQ 100. You're ready to play a little bit because you've learned in the process of buying those 30 stocks. So I'm very focused on the Dow as the path, I think, to introduce people to the stock market in a way that's fundamental. I think this is my new base code. You remember when I used to talk about bricks and building bricks? I think all the bricks are contained within the Dow. And then that's kind of the training field that lets you move on to something else. So I'm going to do both. All that said, I'm going to do both. I'm going to buy a share of the index fund for the whole Dow, and I'm going to continue buying individual shares of the Dow. Today's Good Friday, so the markets are closed. So I will continue getting my full share of each component of the Dow next week, but I'm going to be very active about it because they're so inexpensive. And I can't believe that they're so inexpensive because it's the Dow. It's worth $30 billion minimally. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know what you're going to do, but that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I should close out. I've gone way too over time. I've cut into the time for prayer time, which is live now. Reminder, there is no sit with Rev. Melissa at 10:30. There is no sit with Rev. Melissa at 10:30 a.m. Today is Meditation with the Moon, so we are celebrating with the moon at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right where you're watching me now. Check us out for Meditation with the Moon. All right, so over the weekend, remember to ask yourself, how can I expect less? And research the Dow. Research the Dow, and you'll be very, very shocked. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here. Hanging on way too long, but I'm still excited about the discovery of how accessible the Dow is. So keep doing, be a hero, be your own financial hero. And remember that now is better than perfect. Now is better than perfect in terms of investing. Don't wait till later, invest now. I'll see you Monday hopefully with good news about Mr. Charles. All right, enjoy the weekend. Happy Easter. Later.